Welcome back, spooky friends, to another episode of Sir Henry's Haunted Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Galeros, and with me, as always, is my executive producer, Calvin.
Hey, I'm Calvin. Good to be back.
New on the show this week, we have our production manager, Lindsay, with us tonight.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you now?
I'm pretty good.
Oh, you're supposed to do that. Good
Oh,
news?
yeah.
Come on.
Are you really good, Lindsay, or are you a little stressed out?
I'm always stressed.
Because if you're watching this episode, it's going to be around September 7th, and it's crunch time. We have 2 or 3 weeks left?
Yeah, we'd
Yeah.
be losing our minds.
How do we even find time to do a podcast? It's because we love our fans
Oh, yeah.
so much.
It's
That's
not like
why-
we don't like to hear ourselves talk or anything. But
That's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. The fans.
So that's who we are. We've got a great show for you today. I want to thank Back Pocket Studios for allowing us to use this space and record in. If you ever need any kind of sound recording, podcast recording, anything, go check them out. They're here locally in Plant City. So shout out to them.
Oh, gosh.
I'm setting you up, Calvin.
Yep. Lay up.
Just a couple of housekeeping things. Whether you're listening or watching on YouTube, tickets are on sale. You can get those at sirhenrysHauntedTrail.com. Going to be open 16 select nights. And one thing I wanted to plug too is I get this email a lot about group rates. If we have a group rate discount or anything like that. And the answer is yes, we do have a group rate. If you buy more than 12 tickets at one time, it automatically takes $3 off each ticket. No need for any kind of promo code or anything else. So that is a cool thing if you're bringing a big group, which I know a lot of you guys do. So I just wanted to plug that. Calvin, I believe you have a little treat for us this week.
So I'm going to start us off on a little bit of a somber note. I want to reflect. Comes a point in everyone's career where you kind of you reflect on your mistakes, but you learn from them and you grow from them. So that's we're no exception. So that's why I'm going to introduce the shout out swear jar. Because quite frankly, we said shout out way too many times the last 2 episodes.
I said it 6 times today. So.
Yeah, there's a list of rules. Basically, thou shalt not say shout out.
Yes.
If you do declare, a fine will be paid
and then more form of monetary cash.
$1 bill. So
hopefully we'll save up enough to buy some new fog machines.
Yeah,
maybe. Should
proceeds.
have it by the end of the episode today.
Right.
But yeah, no, we love laughing at ourselves. We love poking fun at ourselves. That's what this is all about.
Oh yeah, we don't hate each other. I mean, we kind of poke fun at each other a lot all the time. But the first 2 episodes, I hope people don't think that we hate each other.
No,
we just like
why
poking
would
fun.
3 people who hate each other be in a room talking.
Yes.
It's it's going to see an exhibit at a zoo or something. But anyway, so we got the shout out swear jar. Maybe we should even get a counter going or something. Or eventually it might become a drinking game. I don't know.
You would have been blasted at episode 1.
Yeah.
I actually think someone said that.
Yeah, Lindsay.
It was me.
Lindsay said.
Make it a drinking game.
So today our lineup is going to talk about Trail 2 and 3. If you haven't seen our very first podcast episode, not only did we say shout out 1,800 times, but we also talked in depth about Headless. That was our main big remodel trail this year. We took a deep dive into that, explored everything we did with that. Today we're going to be talking about our second and third trails, Final Cut and Rapture of the Deep. So, without further ado, let's talk about Trail 2 Final Cut.
So, Trail 2, that is the big mansion one, pretty much in the middle of the common area. That's, our classic haunted house trail.
Yep. And that's kind of what we always like to do with it, is the haunted house vibe of
the more
paranormal, ghost kind of story setup. And so just to give you guys a quick rundown without actually reading the whole story, because who has time for that? Trail 2, set in 1920s Hollywood. Is it the golden or silver age, Lindsay?
I believe it's the silver.
So we're going to go with the silver age.
What's the golden age?
What is the golden age?
I want to say it's the 40s.
Yeah, I want to say it's the 40s too. As a film buff, I should know.
Yeah,
that.
I was about to say, you're looking at the wrong person because I certainly do not know.
He lives in the
I didn't even know there was a
2010s.
Silver Age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
black
it's
and white.
set in 1920s Hollywood. black and white. We'll get to that in a second. And it's about this up-and-coming Hollywood actress, hits a big role, buys this brand new mansion like all Hollywood celebrities do. But turns out the previous owner was also an aspiring.
I mean, she did expire, so.
That too.
Aspiring actress. But she didn't get so lucky, and the whole fame and pressure kind of got to her, and she killed herself. And
Dun, dun, dun.
The dead spirit of this actress now embodies a statue that haunts the home. And on the night of the big movie premiere, everything goes chaotic. And so that's the setup for this trail. The kicker is, because it's 1920s, we decided to do the whole trail in black and white, top to bottom, from the lighting, the sets, the props, the costumes. It's going to be a really cool experience because when you walk through this trail, it's like you're stepping foot into a black and white movie.
Yeah, because we've always done like throwback, like trails and stuff, but we've never gone this far to where it's been like you're really gonna feel like it's 1920s.
Thematic.
Yeah.
It's not a story. It's a full theme.
Yeah,
It's a movie, if you will.
It's an experience, an immersive experience.
Exactly.
And some, I don't know, some people might think that, oh, you're just doing it black, white, and gray. That seems like a cop-out. What about all the cool details and the textures you can do in there? That is not the case. Actually, we were just talking about this the other day.
It's actually more work.
It is more work to do a solid thing like this and to create a cohesive scenic set from start to finish, not just with the sets, but with the characters and makeup as well, than it is to do in color. So it's proving to be a lot of work, but
You have a lot of leeway when you can use whatever color you want because you're like, oh, let's just do this scene. But if it's in black and white, it's just like, is that scene?
yeah, it's.
really
I mean,
make
just
sense?
think about when we were, lighting Headless, and okay, we can use any. We had a color palette we
Yeah.
stuck to, as we talked about in episode 1, but it wasn't so limited as we have white.
Yeah.
We can use just white.
Gray and black.
So it's going to be really cool, and I'm excited for all of you guys to see that. This trail actually wasn't decided on, and this is why you are watching the podcast, to hear these inside things. This trail wasn't decided on until, I don't know,
Pretty late.
I want to say June.
end of June.
Yeah.
And that was my fault. I couldn't settle on a theme.
We might as well have just rolled a d20.
And whatever.
What is our theme going to be this year?
I was Googling stuff at one point. No, but I had the idea for doing an old Hollywood thing the beginning of the year, but I wasn't sure if we could do it well enough to where it could be a trail for the whole event of October. We could easily done this for like a Valentine's
like an
Day
off-season
haunt.
event? Okay, I got you.
Easily done that. Because the wedding theme we did for
Valentine's.
Love's Revenge in 2022, this past February, was on one of my master list of themes, but I felt that it was best done in a Valentine's Day short scope setup. But so I kind of explored other themes. And me and Lindsay talked a great deal about themes, so much so to at Transworld we ended up buying a lot of stuff
For the wrong.
theme. But hey,
I mean, they're great props anyway.
they are great props. And,
But I guess they're kind of.
we're still
similar.
utilizing a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think there's like one thing we're not utilizing. It's a mask. But
Honestly, I feel like we didn't even buy that much stuff for Trail 2.
we didn't. The statue thing was cool because we did buy that statue mask.
Yeah.
CFX.
Yep.
Let me just go ahead and say shout out. Okay. Real quick.
I mean, you
Shout
can't.
out
You
CFX.
can't.
Yeah, you have to shout out CFX.
So that was we have that mask for them, and that's kind of our main villain for this trail. So that's cool. But went a lot of back and forth, a lot of indecision on my part, and I just said, screw it. We're gonna go with this Hollywood thing. It's like trust your instincts. That was my first instinct. So we decided on that, and we created this story. And I felt like the story is going to be great for the scope of our October event, and it's also pretty freaky and trippy because basically it kind of gets into, I'm not a fan of this word, but possession.
Yeah.
Because the statue is basically possessing this actress, and then all chaos breaks loose.
Yeah, because it's not the statue directly that's ruining this whole part. It's the actress herself
Spirit
through
of
the statue.
dead actress. Yes,
Exactly.
exactly. So you're going to see some really cool stuff with that. You know, we just finished lighting it up, and I think you guys are going to be excited to see what we've done with that. As we said, we have to stick to the grayscale and the black and white thing. The one thing we weren't planning on doing this year that we ended up doing anyway was we didn't have plans to do an extensive remodel of this trail. Obviously,
Yeah.
we still were going to bring you, our fans, brand new experience, brand new fears and scares and all kinds of stuff for 2022, but we didn't have plans to do a deep dive remodel into it. Well,
Because last year we did the
last
deep
year,
dive.
2021, we basically started from scratch.
Yeah.
We built the giant new Haunted Mansion facade, which is ginormous. And then we also did a lot of interior work as well, with the scenic. So, you know, we were going to change the theme this year, add a couple new rooms, but nothing crazy. Well, midsummer comes around and we're looking at some of the sets, and being an outdoor haunt, weather takes a dramatic toll on our sets.
On everything.
As best as we waterproof them.
Even the
and
people, you know.
Yeah.
Lindsay said we need Sir Henry's rain jackets, and I'm sure some of you guys out there would like to see that as
Or-
well.
or
I know
an
I
umbrella.
would. Umbrellas?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll add that to the
Dude,
list. It's going to be
whatever.
just like our gift shop where there's 300% more merchandise this year. But for real, we'll get to that soon too. But yeah, so we looked at it and basically said, we cannot keep this. This is not quality stuff. So we knocked half the trail down.
Again, the same half that we knocked down last
I think
time.
this is like the third time in 3 years that we've had to rebuild more than 50% of this trail. So we did in 2019, third time in 4 years. We did in 2021 and now in 2022.
Yeah.
Something about that area specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it stays very wet over there too. Well,
Do you want to talk about like how it was? What was happening to the sets?
it was just bad. We're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah,
it was just bad.
It was like trippy.
It's confetti.
Yeah.
Confetti. Just imagine confetti. But no, so we knocked all that down, and this is like beginning of July, and we're like, oh, it's less than like 2 months, 3 months, 2.5 months till we open. And we got to do all this work because we hadn't started on Trail 2. But luckily, we had some extra help. We came in, we put up, I think, like 75 new wall panels.
Yeah.
It's
Hefty.
It's hefty, and we ended up extending the length of this trail too. So it's a good bit longer. I would say it's probably 60%, maybe even 70% longer than last year's trail. And we added, I think it's 6 or 7 totally new rooms. One of the things I'm most excited for is the library scene. Always wanted
Finally.
a BA library, and we're getting that. Couple other scenes that are going to be brand new is our kitchen scene, which I think is going to mess people up.
Yeah.
As far as the
Yeah.
scares in that scene, you guys are going to see some cool stuff that we've never done before, and the kitchen scene's really cool too. What else is there?
We're doing an outdoor section. We haven't
We're
done.
bringing back the outdoor section. I think the last 2 years we didn't have the outdoor
Yeah,
section.
it's been a while.
Because we used to in this trail, you would start inside the house and then you would go to an outside area and then you go back inside the house. Well, we brought the outdoor area back because I think guests really like that and it help breaks up the trail a little bit. So that's going to be very cool. And then without giving too much away, I will mention that we're doing a projection, like screening room, like an old film projector, and you have to walk through a movie screen. We're going to be doing some trippy stuff on that.
Yeah, this one, it might play with people's heads more than we expect.
That's what I want to. And the thing with this trail that kind of spurred all of this, how can you make Hollywood celebrity haunted, is because you hear all these stories like of these Hollywood celebrities and like their
Wild.
desolate mansions, like 10,000 square foot mansions, and they live alone
And
with their one maid or whatever.
And they're all
Tiny dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, and no one really knows like what they're getting into. So
And you hear like of all like the suicides and all this stuff and how much like fame pressures these people and creates this just chaos in their heads of whatever it may be. And it's sad. It's depressing.
yeah,
But I wanted to take that and amplify it through this trail in a horror kind of way. And that's what we've done. The soundtrack for this trail, it's very heavy. Fun fact, we create all of our soundtracks from scratch. Nothing is like store-bought or anything.
that might be the word of the week next week. It's
What?
fun fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Write
Say
that
quite a
down.
bit.
We're going to have to start putting money in there.
Yeah.
Cross that out.
Start building a new trail.
Yeah. We'll have a fourth attraction by the time we're done with this first season. But yeah, so all of it's custom created. And when I did this, I wanted to create the soundtrack for Trail 2 to be extremely heavy and depressing. And I'm listening to it as I'm building this. I'm like, oh.
I haven't heard it yet.
I'm
Should
in,
play it
in
for
a
me.
mood. It's all done, obviously, because we got 3 weeks to open.
Yeah.
But yeah,
30 days? 30 days?
No, it's less than that, Calvin. It's like 23.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 23 days.
Should have just let me think of 30.
Yes, well, don't think 30 because we won't be done.
Yep.
So that's really cool. That's another aspect of this trail. So yeah, that's cool.
So we want to talk about like one of the bigger inspirations of this was like, you know, one of Hollywood's most
go ahead.
infamous I guess killings was the Black Dahlia murder. That was a huge inspiration. I think we were kind of like teetering on this idea, and then once we were like compared it to the Black Dahlia, we were like, okay, yeah, that's good. We can do
Which bit my lip. I didn't say fun fact. Fact.
that. It's not fun. It's just a fact.
The Black Dahlia murder, and I didn't know this because I always thought it was in the 1920s and 30s. It was actually in 1947.
I didn't know.
So
With
after
the Golden Age.
I would
All right.
assume.
somebody get to Google out. But so that was after World War II. So we set ours a little before then, in the 1920s, the Silver Age. We think.
I think that's one of like the murders that I know the least about is the Black Dahlia. Like I'm kind of into like that type of thing, true crime stuff, but I really don't know much about.
Somebody was telling me there's a whole podcast or something on it.
I think that was probably Reese.
Probably Reese. Yeah.
Probably.
Reese.
I was gonna say shout out.
We're doing so well.
We're doing it's almost not fun. It's like having handcuffs.
Oh yeah.
Handcuffs. No, but yeah, we're extremely excited for that. I think personally this is going to be a sleeper trail for a lot
Trail
of
2
people.
normally is like a lot of the times like the guests really like Trail 2, but like last year we poured our hearts into Trail 3 and people were like, man, Trail 2 is really cool, and it's like, all right,
Yeah. A lot of people like Trail 2 last year. Blood Masquerade. That was cool. It was different. Raw podcast feedback. It wasn't my favorite.
It wasn't mine either.
me neither.
And then nobody's to blame for this other than myself. I don't know. But I don't know. I felt like some things might have been missed, but not to say that it sucked, because it certainly didn't, because we had plenty of guests tell us that was their favorite trail.
I mean, it had a pretty good cellar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
cellar was awesome.
Brag about it. Jeez.
Lindsay built the hand sculpted and carved that entire cellar out of concrete.
Yeah, the cave.
That was actually Lindsay's very
man.
first project
Yeah.
at Sir Henry's.
Yeah, but
Trail.
I'm a Trail 1 guy. You know,
Me too.
I started off managing Trail 1, and I did that for like years and years. So like back when we only had 2 trails, like Trail 2 is my direct rival. So it's kind of like I've never really like loved that entire thing until like probably last year when we redid it all, and then I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool.
I think
like
it's going to be really, really cool this year. Like I said, I can't stress enough. You guys are going to see some new sets and stuff that you guys haven't seen before in this trail.
Some super creative stuff. Really.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Trail 3. So this is the trail all the way to the right.
The nautical theme.
The nautical theme. Last year we introduced Captain's Fury as this trail. We did a big renovation of it, and we built a couple really cool scenes. The queue line is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, the queue line is really cool.
I like that it's segregated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the queue line was actually inspired directly by two buildings that we saw when we went up to up to the northeast when we went to Haunted Overload and all that stuff. What town was that?
It wasn't Portsmouth, but it was in
We
Maine.
went up to Maine. It was like Kennebunkport, Maine, or something.
I
like
can't
that.
remember what it was.
Picture is on if you're watching the YouTube video of what inspired the queue line facades. So we did that, and then we took it upon ourselves to do this whole boardwalk thing, which is one of my favorites.
I was so excited for that when we were building it, and when it was done, and I first saw it with all the lights on, I was like, "Yeah, this is awesome."
That was one of the moments, like, oh my god! It reminded me of when I first turned the lights on for the first time ever at Sir Henry's Haunted Trail, year one, with generators, and I saw all of it come to life with some purples and greens and oranges and blues.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, oh my god, it's alive! It's like Frankenstein or something. So, but that felt like that for me. That's how cool
it was awesome. And jumping back to the queue line, I like the queue line a lot because like it's good vibes.
Yeah.
Like the music, and you can hear like the bells ringing,
and the boat,
and like how you said, it's separated from everything else. Like the other two queue lines, you're still kind of in the common area. Like this, you're completely exiled.
You're isolated.
Yeah.
So we have that. We have the boardwalk. We have all those real boats in there. That was cool. I think there's a total of like 6 or 7 boats in Trail 3, which is cool.
And when we first started like collecting those, it was still the middle of the haunt season of 2020. And,
we're storing boats out back.
And we had to tell the actors that Zach was starting a boat repair business, so they weren't catching on to what we were doing.
I'm very secretive about keeping themes under wraps for a variety of reasons. But so I forgot about that. It's fun.
I think there's 3 or 4 of them back there.
Yeah,
because they're like, "What are the boats?"
But it's true. It worked because one of my passions besides haunting is fishing. So it was also cool to create this whole nautical theme and still do all the fishing aspects behind all that.
Yeah.
And then we built the lighthouse too.
Oh yeah.
That was a beast.
That was great. Yeah.
Like we mentioned in our first or second podcast episode
about the extension cord.
About the extension cord for the pulley rope.
Before we even put lights up there in the trailer, it's just me up there with a light going like this, and so it's like a shot of the the lighthouse.
That's not much worse than what it ended up being.
Oh yeah.
So me and Josh searched high and low for a lighthouse light that would spin and do all this stuff, and we spent months. I remember getting quotes on like $10,000. I'm not spending $10,000 on a light
and like DMX boards.
Yeah, DMX boards. I'm like, Lindsay, you know how to program DMX lighting?
We could not figure this out for the life of us until Lindsay just had this amazing idea. Yeah. Lay it on us, Lindsay. What was this brilliant 200 IQ?
Just to take a regular light and attach it to an oscillating fan.
It's that simple.
And so if you see the light in the lighthouse, that's what it is. It's a light attached to an oscillator. Which
Tricks I think, behind the tree.
Yeah. Horror is cheap.
Yeah.
Talk about that more later. But no, so that's a pretty cool little inside thing. Doesn't always have to be.
It doesn't have to be $10,000 DMX boards.
It just has to look right.
It could just be a guy with a. What I literally. Well, hold on. No, I was using your.
Your
headlamp. Oh my gosh.
That was for our promo shoots in 2021. Calvin had to get up there on the ladder, and he took my bright headlamp
like 20
and
feet
was shining it like that.
Yeah,
but it worked for the video.
And I'm like up there, and I'm like, "Are you guys done?" Like,
no, so we left Calvin up in the lighthouse. No big deal.
Oh,
so that's a fun fact. So yeah, so we're staying with the nautical theme.
Dude, we should have made it fun fact. We should have made.
Well, we know what next week's going to be. Episode 4, fun fact, swear jar. But so we're sticking with the nautical theme setting just because we put so much time and work into this, and the sets look really cool. But as always, we're changing the story, keeping it fresh. And so
it's more of a continuation.
It's a continuation for sure. And so I'm not going to say fun fact.
Oh my gosh, is it really that hard for you?
Yes.
Oh man,
I'm just in my head today, I guess.
Oh gosh.
But so interestingly enough, I got the idea.
That's a good.
You like that?
I like that.
I got the idea for what we were going to do for this season, 2022, for Trail 3 last August. So a lot of we talk about like I have this a year in advance while we were in Key West, and we're actually at this a dive shop, shopping around, and I saw this T-shirt, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I love the design. I'm a sucker for art. But here's the T-shirt. It says Neptune's Rapture.
Can we see that, cameraman?
Awesome. Yeah, and so I'm like, oh, it's got the vintage scuba diver costume like what we have, and it has like the eel and the sea creatures on there. I love the name Rapture of the Deep, obviously, because that's what I named the trail as. And so I had to buy the shirt. And then I got to thinking, like, be cool to do a deep dive into the ocean depths.
I remember you showing me that shirt.
Yeah.
Before
I was
we even
excited
opened.
about it. Yeah, this is before we even opened. I'm like, this is what we're doing. And so I decided that we're going to do
there was no argument there.
Sea creatures, deep dive. And so the story and concept with this trail is that once the captain and his crew came back from the dead last year in Captain's Fury, the town kind of forgot about this deal they had with this sea witch. And the deal was that they would make sacrifices.
The deal was.
The deal.
You said dill.
The deal?
The dill.
Dill pickle?
Yes.
The deal was that they would have to sacrifice bodies to the sea witch and her sea creature, and she would keep the village safe. Well, they forgot about it.
They were a little
preoccupied.
Yeah, preoccupied.
Never good to forget a debt to anyone.
Jesus. What did you say first? Was it like excavator or something like that?
I don't know. Just throw the counter on. Drinking game. There you go.
How many times does Zach say a word? Mispronounce?
It's the headphones. I can't hear myself. No, I'm kidding. I'm good. No, so...
You looked up
So, God. All right, let me cut this out. So they forgot to sacrifice the bodies to her. So she's like, oh, hell no. So
that's actually exactly what she says.
Exactly what she says.
Yep.
And exactly that way too.
She actually has like a speaker on her that every time she's scared, she's like,
so
when
you see the sea witch at Sir Henry's, that's what she'll say.
Yep, guaranteed.
So she has her sea witch swallow the village into the ocean. So when you go through this trail, you're going through it underwater. You are.
Yeah.
Why do you look at me like that?
It's just the way you said it. I don't know. I mean,
it's underwater. I mean, you don't get wet, maybe unless it's
maybe.
Or
it's a possibility. We sprayed it with water last year, right?
Actor spits on you. No.
Whoa!
No, that won't
settle down.
Yeah. No, we did have that little water effect at the end, and I'm sure we'll bring it back.
Probably.
I think I saw it the other day in the storage unit. Got to get that rigged up. But yeah, so that's kind of the premise of this trail. The biggest thing we did for that is on the second half of it. Is we've created an entire underwater structure, and that's basically coral reefs where there are giant animatronic creatures popping out to eat you.
Yeah, there's so many new props that me and Josh actually had to upgrade. Yep. We had to put a whole sub panel on that side of the property just to power this trail.
Yeah, it's going to be gnarly. It's going to be a lot.
They'll be popping.
They don't
popping. I like that.
Lindsay with the puns. No surprise there.
Dad jokes. So we've got three giant creatures that are going to come out at you and that you're going to see in these coral reefs. In addition to our finale, which will be the fourth creature or parts of that you guys will get to experience. And most of you guys remember if you attended the event last year or even during Valentine's Day where it was Cry of Death, the little drop bridge,
which we were super excited for.
With a shark. That was a big upgrade for us. That returns this year. Can't tell you where you're going to see that at, but that's not going to be the only thing you're experiencing on the drop bridge. It's going to be pretty cool. Lindsay knows what I'm talking about.
Like I don't.
I don't think you know, Calvin.
All right. You're
right. No, you know.
I'm in the dark.
I would say, but I don't want to give too much away because I want you guys to see this firsthand and have a reaction to it.
For those that like to speculate, it's in the trailer what this finale is.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's in the trailer.
That is, yeah. So if you can find that in the trailer. The other thing we did with this trail, too, is that we had our classic characters that we did last year with the focus being on kind of the captain and the sea hag. This year, we're doing more creatures, and then the sea people that were there were kind of
Engulfed.
imagining them engulfed in
Yeah.
the deep trenches of the ocean.
Come one with the water.
And that's like, we'll throw an image up on the screen here of our diver, vintage diver costume that we had last year. Well, we're adding a new character, and it's the cracked face diver. Really excited for that. That's going to be a really cool thing. You'll see that in the trails in the queue line as well. Calvin, you want to scroll over? Let me see some words. I don't know what's on here.
So is the dynamic between the captain and the Sea Witch, is that like a Joker and Batman thing, or are they friends? Like, are they teaming up against Portsmouth?
They
They're
are
like their
definitely
business acquaintances.
Yeah, business
They're
acquaintances. Yeah,
I got you.
And you know that can go several ways depending. But
The love arc for Valentine's Day?
the what?
I said a love arc for
But
Valentine's
the
Day?
captain already had a love.
He
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, that's his story. Come on, backstory. Even the fans
People
know.
can even undead captains can move on.
This guy can't. That's why he's back.
That's why he's still here.
But so there is just this kind of cool dynamic between the captain, between the Sea Witch, of just chaos and destruction. And they're coming after you, because when you go through the trails, they're gonna be coming after you.
Kind of got a double villain thing going on. Like
It's-
in
yeah,
Trail
it
2
is.
and Trail 3.
And I, off the top of my head, I think this is one of the first times we've done something like this.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Unless you count like Pyram and his little people from.
Well, the
2018?
captain
No,
is
that's
a
more
main,
of like the main villain and his henchmen.
Yeah. Or
You know.
yeah, that same
So
thing with
you've got two, like,
Poppy.
As far as Sir Henry World goes, top billing characters on this trail. So that's kind of cool. The captain,
I'm just not realizing that. That's actually kind of sick.
the captain is probably, aside from Sir Henry, one of the favorite characters, if not the favorite character I've created at Sir Henry's Home Trail.
I can get behind that.
I think it's just a very iconic look.
Besides Pyram, but that's a little biased.
I mean, it's whatever. No, but it's one of my favorites. And then the Sea Witch too. We're doing, and you can see an image here. We've got this cool mask from Immortal. Shout out to Immortal Mask.
Get the dollar.
Get the dollar. Put it in there. You can already buy an ice cream cone now.
Hey, stop by Circle K.
So we've got
Pops.
some cool new characters there. You can see if you're watching on our YouTube video. We've got a little bit of sneak peek of the coral reefs that we're creating. Shout out to Lindsay
Oh my
and
god.
her fantastic artwork.
Yeah, so we talked about like what we do, but like Lindsay, you want to briefly
Yeah,
describe like what you say, like what you do
Got
out here?
this so far away.
I mean, it's kind of like what I don't do.
Yeah,
At
right.
this point,
She's bossing us around at this point.
yeah.
Started off just doing scenic, and now I'm like, I don't know, making 3D models for trails and
Yeah, and
animatronics.
we talked about that in episode 1.
Yeah.
Which is probably like
3D
one of the
model.
biggest helps that you do
was
is make it easy for us to
Yeah.
build.
Yeah.
But
Here's step-by-step instructions.
Yeah, Lindsay basically goes, "Hey guys, do this. I drew it out. It's this easy." And we're
Yeah.
like, "Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We're on it."
we don't like to question Lindsay.
Yeah.
Lindsay to go.
But on a night-to-night basis, if we're open,
If we're open, I'm running the tech stuff in the back.
moving fog machines around, yelling at unruly guests.
Yes.
Trying
That's
to
probably
fix
where you
the
recognize
audio.
Lindsay
Yeah,
from.
if you've seen like an intense little blonde girl running around, it's definitely
200
Lindsay
miles
yelling
an hour.
at you not to touch our props.
Yeah,
So watch out.
yeah. If you recognize Lindsay, that's a problem.
Honestly,
Expose yourself.
it was nice not being known because I could just like sit back and see like
Yeah.
genuine reactions when
Yeah.
people are like, "Wow, this looks great," and I'm like, "Oh,
That is cool to see.
Yeah,
like,
that's probably some of
the
the best parts,
reaction
is,
to
like
to
when you
your
get the
work.
reoccurring fans that like can recognize you in costume and they come up and like that was great. And you're
No,
like,
no, it's when they have no idea
Oh,
and
yeah,
they're just
like you-
talking to
yeah.
somebody else and like, "Wow, this looks great." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, thank you."
Yeah,
yeah.
that's always awesome.
But yeah, so Lindsay did most of the stuff that we talked about in Trail 1, all the scenic and stuff in the village, and amazing stuff.
Yeah,
Girls-
all the textures.
Yeah,
The stone on the church.
You can't just throw.
Where'd
that-
you learn? Where'd you learn to do all that, Lindsay?
I don't know. I went to art school.
Clown college. I just had to mention that.
I
Lindsay
don't
goes to
get
clown
the
college.
joke.
She went to. Didn't you go to Ringling Brothers?
Oh,
right?
Yeah, it's not
Ringling
Ringling Brothers.
Brothers.
What did I say?
It's Ringling College.
Same
It's
thing.
just Ringling Cars, an art school in Sarasota. Not.
Yeah, clown college.
Yeah, I went for juggling.
Yeah.
I have my minor in juggling.
Yeah, she actually can juggle chainsaws. Check that out in Trail 1. this season.
Yeah, okay. I can't wait to see that. But yeah, so speaking a little bit about lighting and sound on this trail, the lighting will reflect like you're entirely underwater. We've darkened this trail up quite a bit, to resemble as best we could the deep
bottom of the
depths of the ocean.
20,000 leagues.
I'm just gonna go ahead, shout out.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and we got to pay for new stuff.
You guys are going broke. Well, he is.
yeah.
Shout out to my boy Thomas Lutz, a dear friend who does a lot of our videos for me.
I think we've talked about Thomas every episode.
But Thomas took he loves spearfishing and diving, and he took a trip to the Bahamas a year ago, and they did some nighttime dives, and he sent me videos of these nighttime dives, and like the coral structure in it and everything was so cool. I think we'll put some pictures up because he sent me some pictures of it. Because he sent me all this stuff, and I'm like watching. I'm like, this is kind of freaky.
Yeah,
you
the ocean
you
is
can't
super
see.
terrifying.
They're so limited. It's at night. You're diving like at night, and then the line of sight is limited because you're diving in like caves essentially.
Yeah.
So I showed this to Lindsay. I'm like, Lindsay, we got to do this for Trail 3, and then we'll put all our monsters behind these coral reefs and stuff. So that was a big inspiration for
I
the
mean,
whole
there'll be a
coral
little bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
There is a little bit of light, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Is this a reference that I'm not getting?
I don't know. Should you?
You'll find out when it
so-
opens.
You got to come to the finale. I don't think you're in the dark about the finale.
Oh,
Actually,
even Mariana's
it's
Trench about
just
Mariana Trench.
it's just before the finale.
Yes, you're right.
Our friend drops in.
Yes, you have our friend. Yes,
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay,
Drops in.
all right.
Lights it all up.
Now I understand.
Oh, we've got a really cool lighting effect. You'll see in that.
But yeah, so like if you guys are walking theoretically on the bottom of the ocean, there's not very many things down there with you. So we're playing with a lot of height scares this year.
yeah, a lot of height on this trail.
Everything's a lot of things are going to be
And
coming
then
about.
and then
And
sound
bigger.
And bigger.
and
Yeah.
It's big, so much bigger.
Everything's bigger in the ocean.
And then real quick,
like
I'm just talking about the sound. Like how you were talking about earlier, Calvin, with the sea shanties and
I love it.
the bells and stuff.
so good.
We have elements of that, but it's not so much of that stuff this year because you're underwater. So it's more kind of bass rumbling drone,
Yeah.
gigantic creature lurking in the shadow sounds.
We're going so dark this season, like
It's
across the board.
Almost like it's the dark side of fear. Check it out. TM,
I wonder how we
hashtag
thought of
copyright.
that. But yeah, across the board, everything is just super dark and menacing, and it's
All the stories, all the
Yeah.
themes, all the trails.
a direction that we haven't gone
so
this deep
I'm
into.
I'm just a fan of a good creature feature, so
You're going to
yeah.
get that on this trail for sure.
a double, almost a quintuple feature.
Whatever.
That's
Calvin,
5, right? Centuple. I don't know. Anyways,
we need help. Calvin, I do believe you have a
yeah.
fun fact.
Ocean fun facts.
Give us some ocean fun fact of the day.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Port Nemo.
Port Nemo. I'd never heard of it.
It is the most remote place in the world. It is the furthest place from any land.
What ocean is it in?
The Pacific, South Pacific Ocean. So yeah, it's over 1,600 miles away from the closest land, but that land is inhabited. So you have to go like over 2,000 miles to get to like New Zealand, where there's people are.
So what you're telling me is you're not a people person, you just want to be by yourself.
Yeah.
This is the place to go.
yeah.
Oh yeah, so to New Zealand about 2,500 miles, or for our Euro listeners, 4,023 kilometers.
Our Euro listeners, shout out. We do have some people and fans in
Kilometers. But yeah, so
You said you got to put it in the jar.
UK. Oh god, dang it!
oh, did
See?
you really?
Yes.
I missed it.
It's
Dang.
subconscious now.
Yeah, but Port Nemo, yeah. So like Lindsay brought up that they lost a nuclear bomb in Port Nemo, which now that you said that, I think that
I think that's where they put them. Yeah.
I think that did happen. I think they did lose a nuclear bomb in Port Nemo. But NASA, the great environmentalists that they are, that's where they dump all their old spacecraft. So after a satellite is retired, they just nail it straight into Port Nemo. And yeah, that's
We
where
can
it
go
dies.
there. We can
That's
do
great
this.
artificial
Oh, that's what we should do. We should have
Ocean.
just done space oceans.
Space Ocean.
Yeah.
That would
But
be
it's
cool.
called Port Nemo because in Latin, I think it means no one. So like Nemo
That
the
is
fish
correct.
had nobody.
Oh,
no one.
that's
So,
pretty cool.
yeah.
Calvin with the fun fact of the day.
Yeah, Port Nemo.
And
Awesome.
your daily
Look
Latin
Look it up. It's actually
lesson.
pretty interesting.
So yeah, we're really excited about our second and third trail, Final Cut, and Rapture of the Deep. Almost forgot the name there. We're going to be talking before we open on these next couple of podcasts, a little bit more of our background, but we're also going to be jumping probably the next 2 episodes into the common area, the brand new two escape rooms.
Obviously, I'm very excited to talk about this.
A little bit about laser tag and our centerpiece.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that too.
Once we catch you guys up, so we're going to talk about pretty much all the stuff that's going on now. Once you're all caught up with that, and then once you're caught up to the present days during our throwback episodes, if you guys have anything that you want us specifically to talk about, shoot me an email. On screen, it's just calvin@sirhenryshaunted.trail.com. Send me your name, send me whatever question, and if we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
potentially,
absolutely, potentially, if we like it
Yeah.
or not. But we still, any topics, questions, feedback, whatever you guys have, just send it to Calvin, and he can deal with it, not me.
Yep.
But thanks
Bigger
for
fish
tuning.
to fry.
bigger fish to fry. Come on, Lindsay with the puns. Let's go.
Let's go. But yeah, thanks for tuning into another episode, guys. Catch us next week and catch our podcast every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Yep.
If you listen to it, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts.
Make sure you guys rate it 5 stars, leave us comments,
all that good stuff.
Show
And
your
then
friends.
Don't
show your
forget
grandma.
about the YouTube video if you want to see our pretty faces with context of images, as we do put images up on the screen for you guys to see. That is on our YouTube channel, as well as all the trailers for all these trails. Make sure to go check that out and give a thumbs up on those videos as well.
Yeah, it's just Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. That's all.
Yeah,
it is.
just YouTube.
Nothing spectacular.
You can and subscribe.
Yep.
But yeah, so thanks for tuning in, guys. For Zach, Calvin, and Lindsay, we will see you next time on Sir Henry's Haunted Podcast.